Welcome back to the deep dive. We are doing something a little different today. Usually we're up at the 30,000-foot level, looking at these big global trends, AI, economics, the future of work.
The big picture stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today we are zooming way in. Literally, we're looking at a specific patch of asphalt in Northern California. We're looking at Folsom.
Which might seem incredibly specific if you aren't from there, but stick with us on this.
It is, because Folsom is really just the backdrop for a much larger conversation that I think every modern driver is having right now.
Oh, for sure.
Either they're having it internally or they're having it in a very stressed out argument with their spouse while staring at a dashboard.
Yeah.
We're talking about range anxiety.
It is the absolute boogeyman of the electric vehicle world.
Yeah.
It's that gnawing feeling in the pit of your stomach when the battery bar turns red.
It really is. And the materials we've pulled for this deep dive, we've got a stack of local guides, user data, and even emergency protocols just for the Folsom area. They frame this city as this almost perfect high-stakes testing ground.
It's like a video game level designed to drain your battery.
Yes. You've got the intense heat, the elevation changes into the foothills, the high-speed highway stretches. It's a total obstacle course.
It is. And the mission here for this deep dive, it isn't to say don't buy an EV. That's not what the data is saying at all.
Right.
The goal is to figure out if you do have one or if you're thinking about getting one, how do you stop worrying about ending up stranded on the side of Highway 50?
Exactly. We want to move from panic to planning because looking at the sources, it seems like range anxiety is mostly an emotional response to, well, a lack of data. When you don't know the math, you panic. When you know the math, you just drive.
Exactly. We need to strip away the emotion and just look at the physics of it.
So let's start with the source of all that panic, the dashboard.
The big number.
The big number.
Yeah.
You buy the car, salesman hands you the keys, and the window sticker says 300 miles of range. You get in, you charge it to 100%, and the screen says 300 miles.
You think you're golden.
You think, fantastic. I can drive to San Francisco, grab lunch, and come back without even thinking about it. But the research suggests that number is, well, let's call it optimistic.
Optimistic is being incredibly generous.
Yeah.
In the industry, engineers and, the serious EV enthusiasts have a nickname for that range display.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
They call it the guessometer.
The guessometer. Okay, that does not inspire confidence.
And it shouldn't. Because you have to understand where that number even comes from. That 300-mile rating is from the EPA testing cycle.
And the EPA test is what?
It's performed in a lab. It's a car on a dyno, basically a treadmill for cars, in a room that is exactly 70 degrees. No wind, no traffic, no hills. It is a perfect sterile environment.
Okay, so that's the absolute best case scenario. Now take that car and drop it into Folsom, California in the middle of August.
Right. Welcome to the real world. Now you have all these variables that the lab just didn't account for. And the biggest assassin of range, specifically in this region, is the climate.
And we know Folsom. It hits 105, sometimes 110 degrees in the summer.
Precisely. And the data shows that temperature impacts the battery in ways people just don't expect. I think most drivers get that using the AC uses a power, right?
Sure.
You try not to sweat, so you crank the air. That uses electricity. But the aha moment in the research is that the car isn't just cooling you.
It's cooling itself.
It's cooling itself. That's a distinction I think a lot of people miss. The car is working overtime just to keep its own chemistry stable.
It has to. Lithium-ion batteries are like Goldilocks. They hate being too hot, and they really hate being too cold.
If a battery pack gets too hot, it can degrade permanently. It actually ruins the chemistry. So the car has a whole thermal management system, pumps, coolants, fans, that kicks into high gear to protect that battery.
So you're saying even if I, the driver, decided to suffer and turned off my AC, the car is still burning energy just to keep its battery from melting down.
Exactly. In 105-degree heat, you are bleeding energy just sitting at a stoplight on East Bidwell. The data indicates you can lose 15 to 20% of your stated range just from climate control and that battery conditioning.
Okay, so do the math on that. Your 300-mile range is suddenly 240.
Just like that.
And that's just the summer. I know we think of California as sunny and warm, but Folsom gets cold snaps, we get frost.
And surprisingly, the physics of the cold is actually worse for efficiency than the heat.
How is that possible?
Well, think about a gas car. An internal combustion engine is incredibly inefficient. It produces a ton of waste heat.
Right, it's hot.
So in the winter, you just divert that waste heat into the cabin to keep your toes warm. It's basically free energy.
Okay, makes sense.
An EV is too efficient. It doesn't make any waste heat. So to warm up the cabin, It has to create heat from scratch using electricity. It's like running a giant space heater.
Oh, that sounds incredibly energy intensive.
It is. Plus, a cold battery just can't release its energy as efficiently as a warm one. It's stiff, chemically speaking.
The source material mentioned a drop of up to 40% in severe cold.
In extreme scenarios, yes. If you are blasting the resistive heater to warm up a freezing cabin, and the battery itself is cold, you are taking a double hit.
So now your 300-mile car is effectively a 180-mile car. That is a massive shift in expectations. You've lost a third of your range before you've even left the driveway.
And we haven't even driven up the hill yet.
Right, the geography. Folsom is not flat.
Not at all. I mean, if you're just puttering around the historic district, you're probably fine. But most people in Folsom are hitting Highway 50.
Commuting to Sacramento or heading east.
And if you head east toward El Dorado Hills, Cameron Park, Placerville, you are just fighting gravity. It's a constant climb.
The constant climb.
It is. Lifting a 4,000-pound vehicle up an incline takes way more energy than rolling it along a flat road. But the real killer on Highway 50 isn't just the hill.
It's the speed.
It's the speed. Because everyone is doing 70, 75 miles an hour.
At least.
At least. And here's where physics just gets mean. Drag wind resistance, it doesn't increase linearly, it increases exponentially.
So going a little faster costs a lot more energy?
Drastically more.
Yeah.
Driving at 75 miles per hour consumes so much more energy than driving at 65 miles per hour. You're just pushing a wall of air out of the way. So if you combine the climb, the highway speeds, and the AC blasting in August, that dashboard estimate drops like a stone.
So the takeaway here for you, the listener, isn't that your car is broken. It's that the sticker range is a best-case scenario, a fantasy number, really.
It is.
You need to mentally apply a Folsom filter to that number.
Exactly. Treat the range estimate as a suggestion, not a promise. If it says 300, just assume you have 200 reliable miles. If you plan for 200, you get 240, great. But if you plan for 300, you're going to have a bad day.
Okay, so let's say we've done the mental math. We accept that we have fewer miles than the screen says. The logical solution is just to charge up more, right?
It's simple enough.
And looking at the infrastructure map provided in the source notes, Folsom looks pretty well stocked. You've got the outlets, the Palladio, grocery stores. It doesn't look like a charging desert.
On paper, it looks like a utopia. But this is where the source material gets really, really interesting. It makes a big point of distinguishing between presence and availability.
Ah, which feels like a very crucial distinction.
It's the difference between seeing a restaurant on Google Maps and actually getting a table on a Friday night.
Right.
Just because the charger exists on the map doesn't mean you can plug in when you arrive.
So what are the main blockers? I feel like the headline everyone always reads is about broken chargers.
Broken stations are a huge issue, a legitimate source of frustration. You pull up, you're low on charge, and the screen is just black.
Or the credit card reader is jammed.
Or the cable is physically damaged. It happens way more often than it should. But in Folsom specifically, in those high-traffic retail hubs, the bigger issue is actually just congestion.
Too many Teslas, not enough plugs.
Exactly. If you go to the Palladio on a Friday evening or the outlets on a weekend, you are competing with every other shopper who had the exact same idea.
Oh, I'll just top up while I grab dinner.
Right. And if every stall is full and there are 3 cars waiting in line, you aren't charging. You're waiting. And charging isn't like pumping gas. It takes 20, 30, 40 minutes. That line moves slowly.
And then there's the phenomenon that the source is getting ice-eased, which honestly sounds like something from a mob movie, but it's actually just annoying parking behavior.
It is the bane of the EV driver's existence. IC stands for internal combustion engine. Getting iced is when a gas-powered car parks in a spot designated only for EV charging.
Is that malicious? Or are people just oblivious?
I like to think it's mostly obliviousness. A driver sees a prime parking spot right near the entrance of the movie theater or the grocery store. They don't look at the painted lines or they just don't care. They think, I'll just be 5 minutes. But for the EV driver who rolls in at 4% battery, desperate for a charge, that gas car is a physical blockade. You literally can't get the cable to your car.
So picture this. You're low on power. The heat is blasting, so you're draining battery fast. You pull up to the chargers, and half are broken, 2 are full, and the last one has a giant SUV parked in it.
That's it. That's the anxiety loop.
That sounds like the definition of anxiety.
It is, and that's why the guide suggests a very specific strategy, the 2-minute rule.
I love rules that are simple. Walk us through it.
It's all about eliminating that surprise factor. The rule is Never leave your driveway relying on a public charger without checking it first. Just take 2 minutes before you get in the car.
Okay, so what am I checking for?
Open up an app like PlugShare or the Charging Network's own app. Look at the real-time status. Are the chargers currently in use? Are there recent check-ins from other drivers saying, Unit 3 is broken or low power output?
So you're doing recon before you even leave.
Exactly. And, most importantly, identify where the next closest charger is.
Ah, so you always have a plan B.
Always. If you pull up to the Palladio and it's a disaster, you need to know, without frantically searching while you're driving, that there is another fast charger 3 miles down the road at the high school or the supermarket.
It turns a potential crisis into just a minor detour.
It's about removing the surprise. Anxiety thrives on surprises. Planning kills surprises.
That is perfectly said. This actually pivots nicely into the psychology of the driver because the source makes a pretty bold claim here.
Which is?
It says a lot of range anxiety is actually self-inflicted. It's not the car's fault. It's us getting complacent.
Complacent is exactly the right word. We're creatures of habit. You drive to work, you drive home. You know you use 20% of the battery.
So you stop looking at the gauge.
You stop looking because you know you're fine. And that overconfidence is so dangerous because it assumes every day is going to be a standard day.
But life isn't standard. The source calls this the unexpected detour trap.
Right. It's the Tuesday afternoon where everything changes. You're at work in Rancho Cordova, you have plenty of charge to get home to Folsom, but then your spouse calls, hey, can you pick up this package in Roseville?
Or you decide to meet friends for dinner in Elk Grove.
Exactly. Suddenly, your routine 15-mile commute becomes a 40-mile loop. And because you didn't charge last night, because you thought you were fine, you're now just staring at the dashboard, watching the numbers tick down into the red.
And this leads to the most dangerous psychological trap that the data mentions, the 20-mile lie.
I really want to dig into this because in a gas car, when the fuel light comes on, I know I've got a solid 30 or 40 miles of buffer. I can push it. I can pass 3 exits and be totally fine.
You can't do that in an EV.
You absolutely cannot. In a gas car, the fuel pickup is at the bottom of the tank. Gravity works for you. In a battery, as you get to the very bottom, that last 5 or 10%, the voltage can sag. The computer's just making complex estimates based on your recent driving.
So if I've been driving gently and thinks I have 20 miles left, but if I suddenly hit a hill...
Exactly. If you hit a hill or accelerate hard to merge onto Highway 50, the computer recalculates instantly. That 20 miles remaining can drop to 5 miles in the blink of an eye. It is not a linear countdown.
Oh, wow. So it's not like a tank of water emptying out. It's chemistry, and chemistry gets volatile at the edges.
Correct. So the expert advice is this. Translate 20 miles to 0.
Okay.
If the car says you have 20 miles left, treat it like an absolute emergency. Do not gamble on those last few electrons. Just pretend the tank is empty.
That's a really good heuristic. Just change the definition of 0 in your head. So to keep us out of that danger zone entirely, what are the best practices for daily charging? I've heard conflicting things, charge to 100%, don't charge to 100%. What's the verdict for Folsom drivers?
For daily use, your commute, school runs, grocery getting, the Goldilocks zone is between 20% and 80%.
Why cap it at 80? Why not just fill it up every night?
It comes back to battery chemistry. Sitting at 100% charge puts a lot of stress on the battery cells. It's like keeping a rubber band stretched to its absolute limit all the time.
Eventually, it loses its elasticity.
Right. If you charge to 100% every single night, you accelerate the degradation of the battery over time. So 80% is the sweet spot for longevity.
But, and this is a big but,
There's an exception. The long haul.
the Tahoe trip.
The Tahoe trip, exactly. If you're planning a trip to Tahoe or down to the Bay Area, forget the 80% rule. Charge that thing to 100% right before you leave.
You need every mile you can get.
Every mile.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to climb the Donner Pass. The degradation from doing that occasionally is negligible compared to the risk of running out of power in the mountains.
That makes sense. Adapt to the mission. But what about the people who don't have a garage? The apartment dwellers, people parked on the street who rely exclusively on public charging.
They're playing the game on hard mode.
Yeah. They can't just plug in every night and wake up at 80%.
So their strategy has to be different. The source suggests treating the battery like a gas tank that you never ever let drop below a quarter.
So the empty line is actually 30% or 40%?
Correct. Because if you wait until you're at 10% and you drive to your usual public charger and it's breaking or it's ICE'd, you have no buffer to get to the next one.
You're stranded.
You're stranded. You have to carry a much larger safety margin if you don't control your own charging source.
Okay, let's go to the dark side. Let's say we failed, we got overconfident, we hit traffic, it's 100 degrees, and the car is screaming critically low battery.
Mm.
We're on Highway 50. What is the immediate crisis management protocol?
First step, stop the bleeding. The source calls these hypermiling tactics. It's basically about becoming a miser with your energy immediately.
What's the first thing to do?
Speed. Remember that aerodynamic drag we talked about?
Yeah.
You need to cut that down. If you're doing 75, drop to 60 or 55, as long as it's safe to do so. The efficiency gain is massive. You extend your range significantly just by slowing down.
And I assume the AC has to go too.
Oh yeah. I don't care if it's August. Turn off the AC. Turn off the seat heaters. Turn off the radio. Turn off anything that isn't moving the car forward. You are in survival mode now.
Better to be sweaty than stranded.
Exactly. And drive like you have an egg under your foot. Smooth acceleration, lots of coasting.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how many extra miles you can limp out of a battery just by changing how you drive.
But let's say sometimes even that isn't enough. You hit zero, the car stops, you're on the shoulder. Now, in the old days, you'd call a buddy with the gas can. But you can't bring a bucket of electricity. Or can you?
This is one of the most interesting developments in the source material. We are seeing the rise of mobile EV charging services.
Specifically, the source highlights a service called Sacramento Mobile EV Charging. How does that actually work? Is it a tow truck?
No, and that's the beauty of it. Towing an EV is a huge hassle. You can't always put them in neutral easily once the battery is dead.
Oh, right.
Often you need a flatbed, you need dollies for the wheels so you don't burn out the motors. It's a whole production. It can take hours.
So what does this mobile service do?
Think of it like a specialized ambulance for your car. They send a van or a truck out to you, whether you're on the shoulder of Highway 50, a side street in Folsom, even out by Folsom Lake.
Okay.
And this vehicle has a massive generator or a battery bank on board, and they just plug directly into your charge port.
So they fill you up right there on the side of the road.
They give you a splash and dash, is what they call it. Usually enough range to get you to a working fast charger or back home, maybe 20, 30 miles or so.
That changes the equation completely. It turns a tow truck nightmare into a 20-minute pit stop.
Exactly. It saves you the potential damage from towing, and more importantly, it saves your time. You aren't being dragged to a service center. You're just getting powered up to finish your drive.
Is this something typical insurance would cover?
It's a mixed bag right now. The industry is still catching up. Some roadside assistance plans cover it. Others treat it like a lockout service. But the argument in the source is that even if you have to pay out of pocket, the cost is often worth it compared to being stranded for hours waiting on a flatbed.
It's peace of mind. Knowing that number is in your phone is probably half the battle against anxiety.
Absolutely. Just knowing the safety net exists changes how you feel about the entire drive.
Now, I have to ask about the other backup option I see discussed on forums constantly, the portable charger.
Yes.
The one you plug into a regular wall outlet. I've seen people throw these in their trunks thinking, I'm safe, I can plug in anywhere.
We need to burst that bubble. The source calls this the myth of the portable charger.
A myth. They do work, don't they? I mean, electricity is electricity.
They work, but they work on, like, geological timescales.
Yeah.
We're talking about level 1 charging 120 volts, like your toaster.
Give me the math. If I'm stuck and I find an outlet behind a gas station, how fast am I charging?
You are looking at getting roughly 3 to 5 miles of range per hour of charging.
Wait, 3 to 5 miles per hour.
Per hour.
So if I need 30 miles to get home.
You are sitting there for 6 to 10 hours.
Wow, okay. That is not a pit stop. That is an overnight stay.
Exactly. If you get stranded at a friend's house in El Dorado Hills and they let you plug into their garage outlet, you aren't leaving after dinner. You are sleeping on the couch.
That is a crucial reality check. I think a lot of people assume it works like a fast charger, just smaller.
It definitely doesn't. A portable charger is a last resort life raft. It will save you eventually, but it is not a quick fix. You can't rely on it for a roadside emergency unless you plan on camping out.
So bringing this all back to our Folsom driver. We've covered the heat, the hills, broken chargers, emergency options. If we want to distill this all down into a Folsom manifesto for EV drivers, what are the golden rules?
I think it boils down to 3 pillars of preparedness. Number 1, know your real range.
Right.
Ignore the sticker. Adjust for the heat, the cold, and the hills. Be a pessimist about your battery gauge.
Realism over optimism. I like it. What's number 2?
Number 2, plan your power. Never rely on a single charger. Always use the 2-minute rule to check availability and have a backup plan before you even leave the house.
And the third?
Know your escape route. Have the number for a service like Sacramento Mobile EV Charging saved in your contacts. Know that the portable charger is slow. The goal isn't to pretend you'll never run out of power. It's to know exactly what you'll do if it happens.
It's really a mindset shift, isn't it? We're moving from the old gas station model, which was, drive until empty, then fill up anywhere, to an active management model.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's energy management. In the same way we all manage our phone batteries, we know where the chargers are, we top up when we can. We need to treat our cars the exact same way.
And I think that's the comforting part. We don't have anxiety about our phones anymore because we're prepared. Once you have the tools and the knowledge for your car, the anxiety just fades away and you can enjoy the drive.
That's the goal. Stay charged, stay prepared, and enjoy the road.
That wraps up our deep dive into the electric avenues of Folsom. Hopefully, this helps you navigate Highway 50 with a little less stress and a little more strategy. We'll see you on the next deep dive.